from Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for another episode of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow, where all things related to your safety and security are discussed, detailed, and delivered to you. You may leave with a tip that saves you money or a tactic that saves your life. So here are your hosts, owner and founder of Defend Systems, Brink Fiddler, and owner and operator of Herring Technology, Tom Herring.
Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. Brink and Tom with you as always. Today, I am honored to welcome our guest, Mark Brasfield, owner of Nashville Safe House here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about what they do, but it's basically what you think. They sell a whole lot of safes. They do storm rooms. They do safe rooms. They probably do some things that I don't know about. But I wanted to bring him on because I've done some business with Mark, and so have some of our clients, and they do a wide variety of things, more so than just sell valuable safes and gun safes. So, Mark, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad to be here.
And I told you, Mark did one of these for a little while. All right, so you're no stranger to podcasts.
Little about safes and vault doors and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I think your story of how you got into this is interesting, and I think your background is interesting personally, because it's not something you would expect to hear every single day. So I'd like to start there. If you could start with, first of all, like what your actual background is in before you get into how in the world you became the owner of Nashville Safe House, who I believe is still the largest Browning dealer in the country. Is that right?
In the world.
Excuse me. Goodness.
Because most people don't have the Second Amendment freedoms we have. And gun safes aren't big around the world, so I'm the biggest Browning gun safe dealer in the world.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, let's talk about your background a little bit.
Well, can I start us off with a joke?
Of course.
How can you tell if someone's an airline pilot?
How?
Give them 5 minutes and they'll tell you.
Oh.
So, with that being said, the Safe House is a direct result of me being in the airline business.
Okay.
This month is 34 years.
Okay.
And the airline I worked for at the time, the pilots were in contract negotiations and we're going to go on strike. And I went to a gun show looking for a gun safe. The guy goes, "Hey, we need a dealer in Nashville." And I was like, "Well, how does that work?" And he told me, and 2 weeks later, I was selling gun safes. That's a short version of it.
Very short version.
12 safes and a pallet jack in a mini storage place out in Hermitage.
Okay. Just like a self-storage?
Yep.
Sure. Were you delivering them by
storage.
Were you delivering them by yourself?
I was a lot younger then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Delivered them, installed, salesman, everything. I was head floor sweeper, all that.
Were you selling online?
Well, back then, believe it or not, was before the internet. And I ran ads in the newspaper.
Okay.
You know, that paper thing that people used to read and, do stuff. But I'd run an ad in that because you didn't have online stuff.
Yeah.
And just did that in various publications. The Yellow Pages I learned was very effective. But
okay.
Yeah, so that's how I started.
What are those again?
That little yellow book that people had that had numbers in it, like Rain Man, could quote the phone book,
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. But you were still flying at the time, obviously, right? I mean, like.
Oh, yeah. The airline I worked for didn't go on strike. And I've always been an entrepreneur. If you really want to know my background. So in second grade.
Oh, Lord. I
used to buy candy and sell it. My mom was like, "You're just a natural born entrepreneur."
I'd say so.
And I was like, what's an entrepreneur, Mom? And she go, "Well, because you're always wanting to make money."
Yeah.
And I really started in second grade and I actually bought, it's really cool, I still have it, this little bitty safe that's a, coin bank thing, piggy bank.
Yeah.
And I have it at the shop.
Oh, that's cool.
And I really started, that was like third or fourth grade. We went, somewhere and I was like, "Oh, Mom, look, a little safe."
Yeah.
And I still have it. So it's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
So I actually started when I was 8, 9 years old. Who knew?
Apparently you and your mom both knew.
Yeah, she always, encouraged me to do stuff.
Yeah.
But I've always been entrepreneur. I mean, high school, college, everything. I always did stuff like that.
How, when did you know you wanted to fly? Like
when I was like 3 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just obsessed with airplanes?
Airplanes, loved airplanes, everything about airplanes. And just pursued it through life, had some people that were mentors to me and went to school and I have an aviation management degree, which $5 and, cup of coffee. That'll get you a cup of coffee, $5 and that get you a cup of coffee. But So I got an aviation management degree, came out, flew, corporate, private stuff, and then got on with an airline, and the rest is history with that.
So you got your pilot's license, I guess, as part of school?
Yeah, when I was 19, I got my private rating, and just when I graduated college, got out, flight instructed, did corporate, flew all kinds of airplanes doing that, and then got on with the little commuter airline, American Eagle, here in Nashville. That's why I moved to Nashville. And I'm from Memphis, which is a great place to be from. But
why you have the safe house?
That safe house, yes. But just pursued that. 26 years, still sold safes, and got tired of being gone all the time, and retired early.
Okay,
about 8 years ago now. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know anything about airline pilot schedules, but I mean, what does that look like? I know you guys are limited to the number of hours you can fly in a day, but is it? I mean, I guess was it flexible enough, obviously, for you to grow this business? And obviously, the answer is yes, but it was probably a lot of work. Like, I don't know what does the schedule look like for an airline pilot?
Well, it's all seniority.
Okay.
Airlines are seniority based. Pilots so a flight attendant stuff are seniority based. So the more senior you are, the better schedule you get. And I worked for a couple of different airlines. So when I was senior, I'd have 20 days off. I'd work 10 days a month.
Okay.
And run my safe business on the side.
Yeah.
And generally airline pilots, and sometimes this bores people, but you work 2 on, maybe have 2 or 3 off. You may work 4 on. And then I worked for a company that flew overseas that I was gone a month at a time, which was an interesting lifestyle. And I figured out I didn't want to do that. International flying's very back and forth, and it's really tough on your body because you're going back and forth with time zones. So I did that for a while, found out I didn't want to do that forever. It was very interesting. I've been to every continent except Antarctica, which, if Lord willing, I'm going to go to Antarctica sometime and just put my feet on Antarctica and go, hey, I've been to every continent in the world.
Sure.
So that was neat, but I've done a lot of domestic, international flying and safes. And I'm going to say something corny. Safes are my passion, Kidding. I love selling safes. Flying is great when you're flying the airplane. The other stuff that goes along with flying is, TSA, security, training, all that stuff. You don't just walk on the airplane. I mean, pilots basically, commercial pilots, professional pilots, basically trained for emergencies.
Okay.
That's your training. Now, you learn how to shoot approaches and all that, but it's with the engine on fire, the engine's failed or whatever it is. I mean, mundane, day-to-day, you're a bus driver. And I flew Airbuses, so I guess I could say I used to have a license plate that said bus driver. Because I flew Airbuses. So.
Yeah, sure.
I'm kind of a Boeing guy, but Airbuses were fine because they paid me to fly them. But, I love aviation. And I used to have a money pit called an airplane.
I was going next.
Best 2 days you like a boat when you buy it, when you sell it. But yeah, I love airplanes, and I'm contemplating getting another money pit here. I don't know, maybe.
Do you still fly?
Some. I mean, I don't. When I sold I didn't trade outright, but I sold an airplane and bought the property I'm living.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about the same kind of pricing level. I mean, and it's not in Williamson County. I didn't sell a jet, sold a little twin-engine Beach, but that's a Wilson County property.
Yeah, you've told me about it. We've talked about potentially doing some stuff out there that might look a little bit like that thing in the background right there, which we've talked about before. But
we have a cut them up, shoot them up, and blow them up party.
Yeah.
And that fake safe door you have over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
I can get in that safe in about under a minute.
We had some fun with it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I used to carry that brand, and I don't carry them anymore.
Got it.
For security reasons. It's all about security.
We're not going to show the door.
No, I'm not mentioning it.
But we'll let him.
No, but there's levels of safes, just like there's levels of anything.
100%.
Security, guns, everything. I mean,
well, let's go there. I mean, like,
good, better, best.
I mean, obviously there's several brands out there on the market, and there are several there's brands that are real common. You can walk into, the big box stores and buy off the shelf, and, it depends on what you're looking for. Are you trying to keep kids away from it? And, I'll say an honest burglar, i.e. your meth head or whatever, that's going to spend, 4 minutes in your house and get out? Or are you trying to defend against an actual crew of people that you just don't want to get your stuff? I mean, there's all sorts of different levels. I mean, I sourced from you more than once those V-lines, and they call them safes, but let's be real, they're not a safe, they're a cabinet. I mean, it's a cabinet. It's a locking cabinet. And again, if we're just trying to keep guests of the home and kids out of them, then they work fine for quick access. But it's not. I tell every client when we put those things in, it's not. Don't call it a safe. It's not a safe. There's a big difference, right? So,
correct.
What in your experience, or I don't know if you can say because you're a dealer of several, but what are your top three? Like as far as quality, most difficult to breach, like.
Well, I'll categorize it.
Okay.
Fort Knox, aptly named. They are the Fort Knox of the safe industry. Best safe. They'll customize stuff. AR-500 steel, stainless steel, like that vault door thing you were talking about. I mean, they will customize. If you have the wallet, they will customize it. So that's like my most secure, best safe, Fort Knox. I mean, you can't have a better name than that for a safe, Fort Knox. Browning is my next one, and Browning is the best all-around safe that no one knows about, which they get upset when I say that, but it's really true. Their marketing is atrocious. They don't market their safes effectively, and of course that's my opinion, and it's only my opinion, but they have the best interior for gun storage, customization. You can buy accessories to go in it, move the safe, the door, the gun racks, shelves, has a long gun holder on the door, and on top of that, it's a really well-built safe with a great fire rating. One of the best on the market. Fort Knox, and here we go into safe stuff. I can talk all day about this.
That's why you're here.
That's why, yeah.
No, but Fort Knox upped their fire rating, so they've always been a very conservative, family-owned company. They try never to overstate something. They understate stuff, which, I want to tell people, hey, this is the best safe, and this is why, and they would always kind of rate their safes for fire. Now they've come more in line with a lot of other people, but they did it on their own accord where they tested their safes, and it's truly the fire rating that they say, where a lot of safe companies lie.
Oh,
it's what it is.
A lot of companies lie.
Yeah, this is how they lie on fire ratings, is they say, okay, fireboard sheetrock is rated at this rating, and they put a certain amount of fireboard in the safe, but they never test it, and they extrapolate the fire rating of the fireboard into the safe that they've never tested and says, hey, we have a hour rated, a 2 hour or whatever. So, I mean, there are companies out there that really tell the truth in the safe business. I carry most of those brands. The ones that fudge on stuff, I'm not a big fan of, as you can imagine, because when someone comes to me, and I don't have one of my little shirts on with the logo and stuff, but it says the safe experts. And that's just because if you come to me to buy a safe, most people walk in, they don't, only thing they know about safe is what they read online. Of course, I believe everything I read online. Kidding. But people go online and read all this stuff, and then they come into me, and I go, oh, well, that's right. No, that's wrong, right. And let me show you why it is. And look, I've learned this stuff through osmosis. I mean, 34 years of selling safes. It's just like security business. I could never be you because I haven't lived your life and experienced the things you experienced. It's the same thing with you, Well, so, I mean, and, I kind of keep that stuff in my head. And
well, there's a reason, not that I've just brought clients to you, but like the safes I own came from you. I didn't go somewhere else. Like you guys are experts. And I will say, as far as I'm concerned, you could tell me different. I guarantee you guys have the largest selection of in-stock safes that you can walk around and put your hands on and see and touch. And certainly in Tennessee, I don't know if the Southeast is safe. Is it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's another thing too. There's a lot of value add for a client. And circling back, you said Fort Knox will do custom. As we found out, so will Browning. If you want to write the check because that one client I brought to you wanted a certain interior from Browning on a certain safe. You remember this?
No, I do. That's dealer driven, though. They won't do that for everybody.
No. I know. I remember the conversation.
They'll actually answer my phone calls.
I bet they will. Yeah.
Hey, and I want to make a point right here because a lot of our listeners and that there's a lot of security companies, safe companies, everything out there. Who do you trust? Who do you use? They look at backgrounds and who was in this agency or that agency. And I want to point out, you're better off finding someone who's been there for the years, as you said, through osmosis of just the experience, and who is passionate about what they do.
Yep.
There's a lot to say about that. And there's a lot of frauds out there, as you well know, in the safe business, trying to sell safes because they're looking at the marketing and the sales of it rather than the function and the purpose of it. Find you a passionate contractor in whatever you're looking at getting. That's you're a 34-year overnight success.
I am. And I didn't do this. The government did this for me. Barack Obama did this for me.
Absolutely.
He helped. I wouldn't say he did it.
Well, no, I'd give him all the credit, especially my Obama Safe Special radio spot that got me more customers coming in than anything. That was hilarious.
Your radio ads are pretty hilarious.
So
I will say,
you mentioned, and let's see if I use the right word, fraudulent people doing stuff. So do you remember when Spartan Safe was down in Murfreesboro? Probably not.
I don't.
So this company came up and started selling safes, and he sold a bill of goods to a well-known safe company, manufacturer, and opened 15 stores. When they went bankrupt, they had over 1,500 customers, and they would get full 100% deposits when they ordered a safe, which I don't do. And then they had all these orders, and they went bankrupt. There were 273 people. They had a store down in Murfreesboro that they shafted, 100% deposits.
Wow.
And I did radio spots talking about this guy because he did radio spots on one of the radio stations I was advertising on. And I went in and to me, I try to be positive. Sometimes it's hard, but to come up and say XYZ company is fraudulent or dishonest, people go, well, you're just a competitor. So what I did is I had this little young girl, little squeaky voice, liar, liar, pants on fire. So I got her to do the little girl voice, liar, liar, pants on fire. You could probably do that better than me, but I don't have a squeaky voice.
I don't even know who you is. I don't know if she's sitting in the room.
I know. The very talented young lady sitting in the room with us.
Madison, our director of communications.
Well, Madison, I didn't know if Madison, what you're saying. Madison, you could probably do it. Like, you remind me of my daughter. So anyway, I got this little girl going, liar, liar, pants on fire. And I said, what is it called when a safe dealer doesn't tell the truth? Liar, liar, pants on fire. And I said, come to the safe house and we'll tell you the truth about safes because, and I'm going to make another joke, the older I get, the less I can remember. So I'm just going to tell you the truth. Because when if you come in, in 6 months, if I lied to you, I go, ooh, what did I tell him?
Oh, sure.
But if I just tell you the truth, and I'm joking about this, but I just tell the truth. Because if you come in 2 days, 6 months, whatever it is, guess what? Mm-hmm. Mark doesn't have to remember what he told you. He just told you the truth. And of course, I've done this even when I could remember really well. I've always told people the truth. And I can't say I've never told a lie. But in the safe business, it's just better to have a great reputation. It's like you and your company. Great reputation, because what's the saying? I'm full of quotes. My kids always go, oh, Dad, here comes one of your quotes. It's better to keep a good reputation than to repair a bad one. And in business, you can kill your reputation in a heartbeat.
Amen.
In a heartbeat, and it's very difficult to repair that bad reputation. So, there's different things about business that you try to not do, and one of them is to lie and get caught, which I just would rather tell the truth, and I don't have to remember what I told you, because next week it's still going to be the truth. So, So anyway, sorry to get off on that.
Well, no, and Tom brought up a really important point too. I think passion is hugely important. I say that's one thing about all three of us that we can say about what we do is we're all three very passionate about what we do, which is we enjoy what we do, but it also drives the deliverable, right? At the end of the day, that's what all of us live for, is the deliverable to our clients, whatever that is. I mean, that's what drives our business and drives our passion and we're all three in the business of helping people keep themselves safe. I mean,
if you sell a toy and the toy fails, it's a bad few minutes for a kid or whatever, the toy's not there. In the business we're in, when it gets attacked or when it hits the fan, it's a bad day.
It's a really bad day.
And it better live up to what you had sold, you know, and that's kind of the way we are, and you don't stay in business that long by shafting and misguiding people in what they're doing. You're passionate about it. You want to make sure. I've been in your store. You have safes that have been broken into in there that people can see.
It's the wall of shame.
Correct. And you go back and look at what failed.
I do. It's the wall of shame.
We can't say none of us are ever going to fail, but when it does, we want to find out why. We want to see, we do that, you do that, and I know you do that. And that's huge of, oh, well, that's just one client. We can continue to sell this. And that doesn't work. You have to stay in business. You have to constantly adjust to the failures.
Yeah, 100% agree. So we hit safes quite a bit, and y'all do a couple of things though that I want to hit on real quick that I think Tom and I are both interested in, because we have clients that are interested in them, but we're also interested in them, and that's two things, and that's storm rooms or storm shelters, and then actual safe rooms, which are two completely different things, right? I mean, I think we would both agree there, depending on what you're designing it for. But let's just hit on storm safes and storm shelters real quick, and then we'll kind of close out with safe rooms.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
A few different kinds, right? So there's built-in that you can build when you build your home, like you can just have a built-in storm room, preferably underground. Doesn't always have to be, obviously. It can be core-filled block, whatever, solid block. But you guys have, and of course you can do that. You guys can customize the door for the thing and work with builders and do all the stuff. But you guys have some interesting, I think, solutions in that space that maybe don't require it to be a new build or whatever. So talk about those. There's a couple that I think I know of, but tell folks about those.
Well, I know this will be a shocker to you, but Middle Tennessee is one big rock with smaller rocks on top of it.
You don't say.
Wilson County is even worse, where I have my property. And to answer your question, I'll start out with the shelter I sell the most of, which would be a shelter you'd roll into a garage and bolt down. And the thing you have to be concerned about on storm shelters is, of course, the wind blowing it away. And a slab of a garage or something is such that if you bolt it down to it, it has enough mass to it that the tornado, as long as it's bolted down correctly, which we do bolt them down correctly, it's not going to lift that out of the ground. Sure. A lot of people have this misconception that, a tornado's going to come and suck things out of the ground. Well, maybe if it's, an inflatable house or something, I don't know, but a little jumpy or something. But no, if you bolt it down correctly, it's not going to get sucked away or blown away. The same thing is sometimes folks don't have that room and they want to do it separately, and you have to pour a pad, which you have to put at least a 36-inch footer, make it a foot wider than the dimensions of the shelter, like a 4x8, you'd be a 5x9 in 36-inch footers, rebar, blah, 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 bolt it down, then the storm can't tump it over, pick it up, and throw it away. So that's what we sell a lot of, because a lot of folks have pre-existing houses that they want to shelter in. We sell a ton of those, and we do different sizes and stuff like that. Or if you're planning a house, and I'll use a house me and my wife have just built, we made the pantry 8x8 storm shelter. So, and this is going to be on my website shortly, beginning and how you do it. So poured the slab, brought the shelter in, set it down, bolted it down, built the house around it, really. So now it's the pantry. Finished it out, put shelves in it. It looks like a pantry, and it has one of our storm security doors on it, of course. So that's the typical storm shelter thing. And if you look at FEMA guidelines about storm shelters, they generally have what they say is a 3/16 7-gauge body and like a 1/4-inch door for storm resistance. And what it is, it's penetration. So if there's debris being blown 2x4, 2x6, and it's blown into your shelter, it's not going to penetrate it. And you can do that with steel or concrete blocks or poured concrete or anything like that. And actually 3/16 7-gauge steel will take anything an F5 can throw at it. Now, if I'm in a shelter and an F5 hits it, it's going to be a little loud, but you should survive unless it's, some off the wall F6 or something,
Right.
Which God wants you. He's going to get you.
That's true.
But, it's a 3/16 shelter. The typical, if you read through it, that's what the standards are for a FEMA rating on a shelter. And the one thing I'll caution your listeners about, if you ever have a dealer, and of course I would love you to come talk to us, but if you're ever talking to a dealer and they say they're approved, FEMA approved, no one's FEMA approved, you can go and get your shelter tested at Texas Tech and a couple other places around the country, and they throw debris at it at 200 miles an hour, and it's Texas Tech approved because they've tested
Or
it.
certified or whatever. Yeah.
Right, but there's nothing that's FEMA certified. Now, you can meet FEMA guidelines.
Words matter.
It does, but you have to be careful. I mean, that's nothing FEMA approved. They're not going to approve anything, but you can meet their specifications for a shelter or exceed it. We have a model that exceeds all the FEMA standards because it has thicker steel in it. That's all it is. And then we have a door that's a storm and security door. It's made by Pro Steel, who makes Browning safes, and it's specifically made for storm shelters. And that's the door that we put on our deluxe shelter. And then we have a standard shelter that we have a 1/4-inch plate door in with 1-inch locking bolt, stuff like that. But that'll resist anything a F5 can throw at it.
We're not going to hold you to this, but give me broad pricing range. I know it varies on size and quality, but what's the price range? Like if I already have a garage, I already have a slab, I don't need you to do that. I need you to roll one of your things in, bolt it down, and make me safe. What's the price range we're talking, like from start to finish?
Yeah, that's a good question. Everybody's got a budget somewhere. 4x6 installed in the Middle Tennessee area standard. Just rolling a garage, bolt it down. It's about $6,000.
Okay.
Ish.
What's your life worth, right? I mean, to me, but.
Well, and that's true. And it's funny though. People call me, and it's usually a guy. Hey, I'm looking for storm shelter. My wife wants me to call you, blah blah blah, and we're looking to protect our family. And you tell them, talk to them, and they go, "What's the price?" And I go, "From $6,000 to $10,000." Long pause. So the guy's sitting there thinking, let's see, that's a 4-wheeler, that's vacation. We could do this to the house. Okay, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
And I sell a lot of shelters, but it's just funny. Guys are so typical.
Yeah.
I'm a guy, so I mean, but you're always thinking, oh, $6,000. What can I do with $6,000? Yeah, I'll just listen to my wife.
Yeah, I know guys that spend that much on a rifle.
True. True.
Like,
yeah.
I can't shoot it worth a darn, but
You can go
I
play
got it.
with
Looks
it.
cool.
Yeah.
But so let me tell you a story that's not a story. It's actually what happened to a gentleman, and I don't know his name, and I wouldn't use it if I did know it. In
Is it
Murfreesboro.
Larry also?
No.
Oh.
This is a serious story. There was a family in Murfreesboro, and I don't know how many years ago it is now, maybe 10 years ago, that were sucked from their home in a tornado.
Ooh.
And he survived. You know what the last thing he remembers was? His wife and daughter being sucked out of the house.
Yeah, I bet.
I'd just take me. I mean, I don't think I want to have that PTSD on that one.
Yeah.
And I use that story. I mean, and look, safes, especially storm shelters, are fear driven. I used to have a commercial with my 2 kids in a closet huddled up, and there was a tornado siren going off. And where would you put your family in a storm? And this guy calls me and just all mad and stuff. You're selling stuff on fear. And I go, well, are you, there's a tornado barreling down on you. Are you not scared? Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you want people to understand that tornadoes are serious and they don't discriminate.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are, whatever. They're going to get you So, I mean, tornado shelters are one of the best advertising things ever because of that. And I try not to market my stuff on fear, but it's true. Your gun safes, you don't want someone getting a gun and using it, in a bad way. Storm shelters, you don't want to die in a storm. So, I mean, but yeah.
Do y'all do anything underground?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I used to, but let's refer back to what I said at the beginning of this. Middle Tennessee is a rock on top of a rock. So we used to do in-ground shelters in garages, and we would have a caveat in our contract that said, hey, if we hit rock, there's an extra fee to jackhammer that, blah, blah, blah. And invariably we'd hit rock, it'd cost extra, people would be upset, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, forget this, I'm just going to do above ground. And they're rated through F5 tornadoes. They meet or exceed all the FEMA, meet or exceed all the FEMA standards. So I just do above grounds now. The one bad, and I'll throw this in real quick, the in-ground shelters in a garage are very dangerous because what do you do in your garage? You park your car in your garage, right? Where is the shelter? It's underneath the car.
Yep.
So let's see, it's 3 a.m., there's a tornado coming. I have to open my garage door, back my car out, and then get my family in a shelter. Or at the Safe House, you can use our shelter. You go out in the garage, open the door, put your family in it, boom, you're done. Because time is very valuable in a storm. It could be 2 minutes and the tornado's gone. How long does it take to back a car out and the wind's blowing 80 miles an hour, blah, blah, blah. So that's my spiel about in-ground, especially in a garage. The other thing, real quick, I have so many stories. I duck hunt a lot, and we duck over in West Tennessee. And there was a couple of years ago, a bad storm came through over by Reelfield Lake, and there was a couple that had an in-ground shelter outside of their mobile home, which, it saved them. But a tree fell on the door, and they could only get the door open about 2 inches, and they took a broom and they put like a shirt on it and they were waving it. They were stuck in their shelter for like a day, and a guy was just driving by and he sees this broom flopping around, and he goes over there, gets the tree off of it, and they were stuck in their shelter. That's the other thing. I grew up here, remember, Memphis. My grandmother had a shelter, and I hated going. It was underground, and I hated going in that thing. It was, snakes and spiders, which I thought there was. There probably wasn't. But I don't like being a rat going in a hole. I'd rather walk into my shelter, close the door, boom, you're secure. So sorry, but that's...
No, you stole my thunder a little bit on the in-ground stuff, but that's good because that's exactly where I was going. I don't know anybody that pulls their car out of the garage when bad weather is coming to leave it outside.
No,
right? No, everybody wants it's not because you don't want your car jacked up and everything else. So you're not going to be pulling your car out in case I need to get in my shelter. There's probably a few people that think of that, but not most.
Well, you should have warned me. I wouldn't have stolen your thunder there.
That's all right.
I mean,
I don't need any extra thunder, to be honest with you. So like this show's not about me today, Mark. It's about you.
You're very thunderous then, right? Okay.
No, not hardly.
No.
Well, let's get to safe rooms real quick. Actual safe rooms, right? What we're talking about is I want to keep my family safe. Oftentimes, they certainly double as a storm room. I know I have a lot of clients that do. But you brought up an interesting potential threat from one earlier, and I know Tom does stuff with safe rooms as well. So I know you guys get involved in certainly installing doors for them and design and all that kind of stuff. So what are some top considerations you would tell people that are thinking about building a home and putting in what we would classify as an actual safe room?
Well, it's your level of importance. Me, there's nobody after me. I mean, maybe come steal something, but I'm not that important that someone's actually going to come after me for, I do have a lot of political views that are very conservative, but I don't think there's anyone after, hey, we're going to go get Mark at the Safe House. There are people that have that. Sure. That have to, we were talking about this earlier, Tom, that do have to realize that there are people that want to come kill them, whether they're the CEO of a big company and people are mad at them because they are some perceived injustice that they did, which is usually a bunch of BS, or, family kidnapping, stuff like that. And thank goodness we don't live in a country right now that kidnapping is a huge thing. In the South American countries, it's huge. But so you need to look at your level of threats. And is it tornadoes or just someone breaks in the house at night and you want a panic room, you just go get in it and the guy is scared away, but you're waiting for the police to get there. Totally different than if, like Tom was mentioning, a high-valued asset. I guess, was that the way we'd put it?
Sure.
High-valued asset that needs more protection. So whether it's fresh air returns, so if someone tries to smoke you out, if they're trying to shoot through the door, which is you just have thicker steel, different kinds of steel, AR-500, stuff like that. So you need to do the level of protection that you need, and you're the only one who can do that, determine that, or if they consult someone like you that looks at their threat. So who are you? What business do you have? Family structure, whatever it is, who's after you? If it's someone like me, now, of course, you can imagine I have a really secure door, being in the vault door business. I mean, it's a Fort Knox. But, it's got AR-500 steel in it, stainless steel. I don't think someone's going to come shoot at me through my door. Now, if they do, I can return fire. But, you got to look at that, because there are different levels of vault doors, just like there's different levels of safes. And it's steel thickness, like stuff that seals off really well. We just put some vault doors in a really high-end house, and this guy put 2 vault doors to get. He has 2 rooms like this, so he actually put 5 vault doors in this house. You had to go through a vault door, into a room, through a vault door to get to where him and his family would be. Not going to happen. You're just not getting.
Amen. Layers,
and it's layered, and it's what it is, and. That little storm door that I put on my storm shelters, it's called a Vanguard Pro Steel door. It's a safe and secured, or a storm and security door. So it would pass as a panic room for limited protection, and then you would go up to a true vault door. And the vault door, Fort Knox makes one of the best ones on the market, and the pricing range that they would be, you can get some high security doors that are something you'd see on a bank vault or something.
Sure.
It just, here again, it's the threat, what level of threat that you want.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, real quick, is I've had customers that have escapes from their vault room.
You don't say.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some really cool stuff. I mean, and really, but then, that's all situational awareness, where we're going. And if I escape my vault room, if the people are really good, are they going to be waiting on you when you come out of your escape area? So, there's so many things, as you know, that goes into planning this stuff. So is it something simple? Is it a Mark safe room that, hey, I just keep my valuables and some guns and maybe some bug out food or whatever it is? But it's like prepping. There's different levels of prepping. You prepping for a week, a tornado comes through, messes stuff up, or you prepping for, Armageddon, and you're going to survive for 6 months or a year.
And you got to know your response times there
Correct.
as well. To how long are you expecting that facility to hold you safe? And that's, we get into that with clients, and they're like, if they haven't thought about it, they probably don't need it.
But that rabbit hole, go down that rabbit hole. Oh my goodness. And it's about money. How much money you want to spend? And there's economy doors, just like there's high-end doors that are $50,000, $60,000. My most one that I sell is probably in the 9-10 range. That's a Fort Knox. But Browning makes doors, Liberty makes doors. There's a lot of people that make doors. Fort Knox is the best.
I'd say one thing a lot of our clients have overlooked is they all think they're going to be in there just a short amount of time, and that's probably true, right? But they don't think about your West Tennessee example of, hey, there's a huge debris field outside of here. Now what? And so a lot of times people have a little bit of food, a little bit of water, but nowhere to go to the bathroom.
Well, always have an in-swing door. Don't have an outswing.
Agreed for a storm room.
Well, panic room too, because you don't want someone jamming you in a room unless you have an escape hatch, which you want, which needs to be the same level of your vault door. Yeah, you don't want your escape hatch to be some little thin door that someone can pop open versus your vault door.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, this is such a broad discussion. You could do a whole new podcast on vault doors and safe rooms
absolutely.
and all that kind of stuff. But just hitting in-swing door, and let me say this because I've had some customers say this, and I'm going to say this. If you have a fire, do not get in your vault room. Run out of the house.
Amen.
Because you will die. Okay? I've had people ask me that. Well, we're just going to run in the vault room, and you're going to die.
Yeah,
Oxygen is a very important thing, and what does fires use is they use oxygen, and they'll pull oxygen out of little bitty cracks and suck all the oxygen out of your room, and they'll find you in there.
Well, one thing I want to make sure our guests know is as you can tell, there's all different levels. There's all different. There's a lot of thought that has to go into this. This isn't I'm building a house. I want to put a safe room in or a storm shelter. Let me run by one. Before you get to that phase, know your threat levels. Consult on that.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, it's a whole lot easier if you can do it in the beginning with planning. Mm-hmm. Call someone. Go meet and plan that out. Make it a thought process rather than just a knee-jerk go purchase and go. And I know you at Safe House, you're just like us. You can come in here 20 times before you purchase to make sure you're getting exactly what you need. So,
well, I love it when people come and talk to people like you, companies like you, and then come to me prepared and go, this is what we want. Now, I don't mind. I've got a list of 7 things to think about before you buy a vault door. And I go through it with folks and go, look, have you thought of that? And probably like you, they go, oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that.
Sure.
And it's something, and a lot of it's very simple to do while you're in the planning stages versus retrofit something.
And a lot more cost effective.
Well, yeah.
On the front end, too.
True. But I love it when they come talk to you, Brink or Tom, and they go, oh, we've been talking to so-and-so. I'm like, oh, great. So now you halfway know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, halfway would be about it. But we do at least get them thinking and ask some of the right questions. But you're obviously a very trusted resource for Tom and I both, and for our customers to be able to send to you. And just circling back on the Browning thing real quick, that was a custom dealer thing. Like normally Browning won't just custom. I'll never forget this conversation though. I said, Mark, she wants that interior in that safe, and Mark said, they don't offer that interior in that safe. I said, Mark, you're the largest Browning dealer in the country. Can you call him? He said, sure. So he went and called him, and he came back. He said,
well, I'll throw this at you.
They'll do
the
it.
Top 5 series of safes that Browning has for safe specialty stores like me, and I'm not talking about the big box stuff.
Yeah.
I help design.
Well, shocking.
Yeah, and because I do it because of my customers, I have great customers, and they go, hey, can I get this? Or like you, can I get this? Actually, funny you should mention that. So there's a series that only I have that was kind of along what you did, and I put it in a safe and made it a special series safes that you can't go online and see it. You come in my store.
That's cool.
That's a tag.
Go.
Come to the Safe House and see.
It's one of a kind. The only place you can buy it.
And so anyway, but come down to the Safe House. I'll be happy to talk to you.
Yeah. Website is?
Well, it's thesafehouse.com is my main website. In Nashville, it's Nashville Safe House, but we have 3 locations: Atlanta, Nashville, and Knoxville. Getting ready to have one in Huntsville.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know about that.
Location for it.
Yeah. They're moving the Space Force stuff down there. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like 25,000 people.
We'll talk a little bit off air about what Tom's talking about too.
And that's coming up. I'm actually in the process of looking for a building,
that's great.
And an employee to manage my store. So anyone listening to this, you want to if you're in Huntsville?
That's right. If y'all don't know where Mark is located, it's on 4th Avenue South, just a little bit south of I-40 downtown. If you know where Nashville City Cemetery is, he's literally right across the street. Really easy to get to, really easy to get in and out of.
I'm not going there. I was going to bring up a story on that cemetery.
That's the next podcast. Yeah, that's it. Come to the Safe House and explain what Tom is talking about.
Yeah. That's right. If you really want to know the story, you got to go see Mark. But thanks for coming and doing this.
No, this is great.
I think a lot of people are uneducated in your world. I know I certainly was before I got into what I'm doing now. So I just wanted to give people an education, and that's our audience is not huge, but it's narrow, and that people that listen to us are clients of mine or Tom's or whatever that are like-minded and are interested in this kind of information. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you doing this for sure.
No, absolutely. It's been a pleasure coming and talking to you, and maybe in the future we can do this again and talk about some other stuff. I mean, I know you have a lot of interesting people to be on here. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, I'm sure. So I think we should do it again.
I'm just scratching the surface. I've got so many stories.
I bet.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. If you guys have show ideas or guest ideas, obviously reach out to us. We'd love to hear them. Also, if you can leave us a short review, that's obviously helpful. But if you want to get in touch with us, the best way to do that is info@tipstacticstools.com.
I'm out.